So here we are again.
It's always such a pleasure.
Been a year.
9 reviews down.
And now it's time for number 10.
Tim?
Hello guys, I'm back.
Jeez, Tim, it's been a while.
No kidding, I haven't seen you since our first review.
I know, and now that I'm back, we can pick up right where we left off. But first, a change of scenery.
Whoa. How'd you do it, Tim?
Sonic screwdriver, vortex manipulator.
That's a watch. You're a watch. Fine, Tim, it's a vortex manipulator. Whatever it is, thank you for getting us to this much nicer place than the garage. Sit down. We got some work to do. Tim, give me the envelope. Today's topic, Star Wars Episode 2. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. What can we say about it that hasn't already been said? Probably very little.
So, as Tim said last time, we deserve a shot too.
I guess I should rephrase myself. What negative things can we say about it that haven't already been said? Probably very little. But again, I thought the prequels were good movies for the most part. Emphasis on most. We start with the traditional opening crawl, and as you can see by the talk of the Separatists, Lucas still hasn't understood that people are tired of the political stuff he keeps integrating into his movies.
The prequels aren't the only ones that did that.
The other movies kept politics to a minimum in order just to give us a basic understanding of the situation. In this movie, half of the focus is politics. The big issue at hand here is that people are becoming disillusioned with the Republic and are joining the Separatist movement. This discussion takes place on the tail of an assassination attempt of Padme Amidala, who is now a senator rather than a queen.
So if she's no longer queen, why does she even need a decoy?
Because Keira Knightley needed the paycheck before she got hired for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Padme suspects a former Jedi named Count Dooku is behind the attempt on her life, but according to the Jedi,
he is a political idealist, not a murderer.
He couldn't assassinate anyone. It's not in his character.
Tyler, would you kindly define the word assassination?
Well, the murder of a very important person or political figure for payment or political reasons.
And would you say that the leader of an opposition such as the Separatist, who is known as a political idealist, would have political reasons for wanting someone murdered?
Why, yes, I would.
I rest my case. Moving on.
Palpatine suggests Padme have the protection of Obi-Wan Kenobi, since he's a familiar face. We see him and Anakin, now a 19-year-old apprentice to Obi-Wan, and we see Obi-Wan has upgraded to Obi-Jesus.
I haven't seen her in 10 years, Master.
10 years? Good luck reigniting that spark, Anakin.
Annie? My goodness, you've grown.
So have you. Grown more beautiful, I mean. Well, for a senator, I mean.
Annie, you'll always be that little boy I knew on Tatooine.
Little boy I knew on Tatooine. If that's not a friend zone, I don't know what is.
Maybe you'll try hitting the rebound while talking about future assassin attempts.
We're here to protect you, Senator, not to start an investigation.
We will find out who's trying to kill you, Padme. I promise you.
We will not exceed our mandate, my young Padawan learner.
I meant it in the interest of protecting her, Master, of course.
We will not go through this exercise again, Anakin. And you will pay attention to my lead.
Why?
What?
I got nothing. This is unprofessionalism at its most profound.
They do wind up being her bodyguards, with R2 serving as a sensor in the bedroom itself. Wouldn't cameras be more effective to monitor the room?
I don't think she liked me watching her.
Well, way to make it all about you, Anakin.
A bounty hunter named Zam Wessel takes a couple of caterpillar-type things from a very Boba Fettish figure and lets them loose in Padme's room. They do set off R2's alarms a little bit, but he doesn't sound a full alert. For some reason.
They sense the danger, and the Jedi, of course, rush to her rescue, carefully using the Force to, Jesus, Anakin, be careful!
Then Obi-Wan leaps out the window after the probe, but that doesn't go well. Anakin steals a speeder and saves Obi-Wan, and they chase Zam down. Anakin makes a few reckless moves during the chase, and they lose sight of the ship.
Well, you've lost him.
I'm deeply sorry, Master.
Allow me to punish myself by jumping to my death.
I hate it when he does that.
He brings down the ship and follows Zam into a bar. Before they move in, Obi-Wan lectures him.
It's in there to hide, not to run.
Yes, Master.
Next time, try not to lose it.
Yes, Master.
This weapon is your life.
I try, Master.
Why do I get the feeling you're going to be the death of me? Can you see him?
I think he is a she. And I think she's a changeling.
Great, she could be anybody in there. Or that. Why tell us she's a changeling if she's not going to do anything with the ability?
After giving it to Anakin's brutal interrogation tactics,
Tell us now!
she's killed so she doesn't spill the beans about anything.
The Jedi Council sends Obi-Wan off to discover the identity of this bounty hunter.
What about Senator Amidala? She will still need protecting.
Handle that. Your Padawan will.
Anakin, escort the senator back to her home planet of Naboo. She'll be safer there.
Okay, no. There are several problems with that. One, you're letting Anakin be alone with his 10-year crush. You must be able to sense those feelings on some level.
2. Naboo. Don't protection programs choose someplace nobody would think to look?
3. Obi-Wan doesn't object to this in session, and later suggests he's concerned because...
His abilities have made him, well, arrogant.
Yet upon their departure, Captain Typho and Obi-Wan are instead concerned about Padme and Anakin doing something. What's worse, Anakin's track record is pretty bad in this movie alone, but then he gets a pat on the back from Palpatine.
You don't need guidance, Anakin. You are the most gifted Jedi I have ever met.
And then feels justified in complaining about Obi-Wan.
I'm ready for the trials. But he feels that I'm too unpredictable. He won't let me move on. He's overly critical. He never listens. He doesn't understand. It's not fair.
This kid is nearly 20 years old. I'm 20 years old, and I'm more mature than this. Thank God Padme's here to give some advice.
All mentors have a way of seeing more of our faults than we would like. It's the only way we grow. Don't try to grow up too fast.
Keep that in mind for the end of the movie.
Obi-Wan visits a diner owned by an alien named Dexter Jetster, who serves as an informant on the dart used to kill the bounty hunter, Zam Wessel, while also serving as an exposition to the title of the movie.
This baby belongs to them cloners. What you got here is a Camino saber dart.
Efficient.
He tries to track down the planet in the Jedi archives, but it doesn't show up.
Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
If it doesn't show, it doesn't exist? Well, what if it hasn't been discovered yet? Thus not been...
It does not exist.
Do not question the archives.
On the ship to Naboo, Anakin and Padme have a conversation about love.
Are you allowed to love? Thought that was forbidden for a Jedi.
Compassion, which I would define as unconditional love, is central to a Jedi's life. So you might say that we are encouraged to love.
You've changed so much.
You haven't changed a bit. You're exactly the way I remember you in my dreams.
Oh geez, they changed the scene faster than an awkward conversation. You've blown 2 scenes so far, Anakin. Better luck next time.
Obi-Wan visits Yoda during a lesson and asks him about the potential location of Camino. And the solution comes from a child.
Because someone erased it from the archive memory.
No. I think there's a better answer.
Hey, Master! Look what I found behind the couch!
It must have fallen behind the couch.
Arriving on Naboo, Anakin starts to do something right with Padme.
The people you serve thought you did a good job.
But when the Queen asked me to serve as senator, I couldn't refuse her.
I agree with her. I think the Republic needs you.
But by the end of the scene, he's screwed up again.
Oh, Anakin's not a Jedi yet. He's still a Padawan learner. But I was thinking...
Hold on a minute. I'm in charge of security here, milady.
Well, maybe he still has a chance. I mean, he's only on strike 3.
Huh. Obi-Wan goes to Camino to meet with the Prime Minister.
Are they sitting on spoons?
Tyler, you can't just ask someone why they're sitting on spoons.
Please tell your master, Cypher Diaz, that his order will be met on time.
Master Cypher Diaz was killed almost 10 years ago.
But I'm sure he would have been proud of the army we've built for him.
The army?
Yes, a clone army. And I must say, one of the finest we've ever created.
That came out of nowhere. Necessary as it is to this movie and the next, they just made up this Cypher Diaz as the one who ordered a clone army. Why not set it up last movie?
Because this character was a complete accident. It was meant to be Cypher Diaz, a false name for Darth Sidious, but someone accidentally hit F on the typewriter and George Lucas liked it so much, and the rest is history.
But overall, I think the clones were one of the more interesting parts of the movie.
You mentioned growth acceleration.
Oh yes, it's essential. Otherwise a mature clone would take a lifetime to grow. They are totally obedient, taking any order without question. We modified their genetic structure to make them less independent than the original host.
And who was the original host?
A bounty hunter called Jango Fett. Apart from his pay, which is considerable, Fett demanded only one thing: an unaltered clone for himself.
Clones, Jango Fett, it seems like interesting stuff is finally starting to pick up in this movie. I can't wait to meet Jango
We cut back to Padme and Anakin.
God damn it.
We see more of their bond blossoming.
What bond? He already struck out. He's gonna need to make a huge comeback if this is gonna work out for him and Padme.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Not like here. Here everything is soft and smooth.
And now they're kissing? 3 scenes ending in awkwardness, and now they're kissing?
No. I shouldn't have done that.
And now 4? This is supposed to be romance, right? This is schlock. It's written horribly.
I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. We do have important scenes that expose necessary information, but key things about them feel off. That leaves the romance scenes to try and carry the movie, but it's bad dialogue unworthy of even Stephenie Meyer. I'm sorry, but I have to say it. Star Wars Episode 2 is not a better love story than Twilight. Hey, I sat through all 5 of those movies, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Just listen to Takahata 101.
Twilight has a better love story than the Star Wars prequels.
What's worse is that they never stick with one section of the movie for long. We get a little bit of info in one area, and then it cuts to something completely different. But what's even worse is that if you coupled one longer section together, they're not very engaging, and so you would get bored pretty fast. So if your movie is so boring that you have to keep cutting to something just to keep your audience's attention, there is something wrong with your movie.
Are you okay, Steven?
Here I thought we were going to be the few defenders of this movie, but here we are, tearing it apart just like the rest of the internet. Honestly, I could be better.
Obi-Wan goes to meet Jango Fett, and the door is answered by his son, Boba. I say son, but this is actually the unaltered clone they were talking about. That's kinda cool. I mean, amidst all the bounty hunting, he wants to take someone under his wing. This allows him to basically raise a protege that will become the most popular character.
I will never get that. He only appeared in the original trilogy for a combined total of about 5 minutes. Jango and Obi-Wan's conversation consists of a lot of poker faces and accusatory undertones.
Ever made your way as far into the interior as Coruscant?
Once or twice.
Recently?
Possibly.
Thank you for your time, Jango.
Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
Back to the lame romance. Padme has changed her clothes for the 12th time. Anakin plays around with her food. And this.
From the moment I met you, all those years ago, not a day has gone by when I even thought of you. You are in my very soul, tormenting me. What can I do? I will do anything that you ask.
Padme rejects Anakin's advances, despite basically admitting she likes him too on the grounds of...
You're studying to become a Jedi. I'm a senator.
Not really sure what being a senator has to do on the grounds of not being with somebody.
Maybe because if she marries arguably the most powerful Jedi, causing him to leave the Jedi Order, it would reflect bad on her.
Fair point, but your mind's in episode 3 right now, Tyler. Anakin hasn't gotten that reputation yet. Besides, he just keeps on begging.
You are asking me to be rational. That is something I know I cannot do.
A phrase that basically sums up his entire character.
Obi-Wan contacts the temple in the rain rather than just hopping inside his ship and communicating from there.
Scramble code 5 to Coruscant, care of the old boat home.
Wait a minute, what? Go back.
Care of the old boat home.
Okay. That's a legitimate thing in Star Wars, though. It's code for the temple in case there are any potential transmission interceptors, I guess. Windu and Yoda are waiting there, since Jedi have nothing better to do all day, and they find out that Sifo Dyas didn't have permission to place the order for the army, and they tell Obi-Wan to arrest Jango Fett. Okay, now we finally get to see some real action in this movie. Obi-Wan and
Cutting back to Anakin and Padme.
What the man?
Anakin is meditating because he is continuing to have reoccurring nightmares about his mother in agony, which was mentioned earlier in the movie.
Don't go.
I don't want to disturb you.
Your presence is soothing.
Did he just inhale while he said that? Your presence soothes me. But right after he resolves to go after his mother and help her, we're right back with Obi-Wan and Jango Fett. Alright, I'm not going to do what this movie is doing. I'm going to stick with one set of characters for a while, okay?
Obi-Wan comes to take Jango Fett into custody, but they engage in a fight instead. Our first action scene since the probe on Coruscant. This should be good.
Oh, not good.
Not bad at all. Granted, Obi-Wan should have been injured, seeing how close the lasers and missiles were to hitting him, but I'll take what I can get at this point.
Obi-Wan puts a tracking device on Jango's ship, nearly gets killed by Jango, but then tails him to a planet called Geonosis undetected.
We must persuade the Commerce Guild and the Corporate Alliance to sign the treaty.
That must be Count Dooku, but that voice.
We shall have an army greater than any in the galaxy.
Christopher Lee! Yes! There's some hope for legitimacy yet. Obi-Wan eavesdrops on the Separatists, which includes the Trade Federation, obviously the ones behind the assassination attempts on Padme. He finds a droid factory on the planet as well. And while this is going on, Padme and Anakin fly to Tatooine and go to Watto, who recognizes Anakin based on his machine work. He also acts like he and Anakin are old friends. Odd, coming from a former slaver, but he reveals that he sold Anakin's mother to a moisture farmer named Lars, who freed and married Shmi.
Lars? Gee, does that sound familiar? So they go to the nostalgic farm set from A New Hope and meet up with C-3PO, who somehow recognizes Anakin.
The maker of Master Annie. I knew you would return. I knew it.
We meet the younger Owen and Brew Lars. We also meet his father and Anakin's new stepfather, Klieg Lars.
Klieg tells Anakin that Shmi was abducted by Tusken Raiders a month ago in a raid that cost him his leg. Anakin, refusing to accept the very probable, goes out and finds her in a Tusken camp.
Is it you? Oh, you look so handsome. I'm so proud of you, Annie. Now I am complete.
That's what you get when you're only paid for one scene.
Anakin gets really emotional about her death in what I felt was actually a well-performed heavy scene. The music especially feeds the scene really well, including the build-up to what comes next. Yeah, yikes, but really well done.
The next part of this shows him lamenting to Padme.
Why couldn't I save her? I know I could have.
Sometimes there are things no one can fix. You're not all powerful.
Well, I should be. It's all Obi-Wan's fault.
No, it's not.
He's jealous. He's holding me back.
What's wrong, Annie?
What's wrong? What's wrong? I'll tell you.
His mother just died, you monotonous whore.
But since canon demands that these two end up together, she justifies his senseless slaughter.
To be angry is to be human.
I'm a Jedi. I know I'm better than this.
Oh yeah, because Jedi aren't okay, some of them aren't.
After the burial, R2 brings a message from Obi-Wan requesting it to be transmitted to Coruscant as well. He tells of the clone army, the droid factory on Geonosis, and the possibility of impending war before he is ambushed.
And are forming a... Wait.
You can get him, Obi-Wan, come on, his shield isn't up!
Since the Jedi are a bit far to help, Padme proposes that she and Anakin go to help Obi-Wan. They inexplicably bring C-3PO with them.
I'm not worried, are you? It's just I've never flown before.
Dooku interrogates Obi-Wan, who is now being held prisoner.
Qui-Gon always spoke very highly of you.
I wish he were still alive. I could use his help right now.
Qui-Gon Jinn would never join you.
Don't be so sure, my young Jedi. You forget that he was once my apprentice, just as you were once his.
Interesting detail. Remind me to touch on that at the end of the review. Then he drops a foreshadowing hint.
What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?
Then we're back at the Senate, during which Jar Jar, filling in for Padme, intends to grant Palpatine emergency powers to approve the clone army. Given that the army is basically ready, the formalities are now over.
I will take what Jedi we have left and go to Geonosis and help Obi-Wan.
Visit I will. The cloners on Camino.
Padme and Anakin land on Geonosis to rescue Obi-Wan. It does not go well. The next scene shows them at the arena preparing for their execution.
That's cutting it a little fast, don't you think? I mean, wouldn't they get a trial?
Deleted scene. Besides, this movie's long enough anyway. They're able to confess their love, I guess, before they are to be executed alongside Obi-Wan. And now, we get a flurry of awesomeness.
This party's over.
But now, all hope is lost.
Here come the clones! Boom! Get some!
You guys gotta understand, we're huge fans of the game Star Wars Battlefront, and I gotta say, the Battlefront games, they need big battles like this, just hundreds upon hundreds of units on battle. It would be so cool to have that in a Battlefront game.
We're giving you a chance, EA. Don't fail me again.
Dooku flees after a quick foreshadowing, and the main characters follow him.
Shoot him down!
We're out of rockets, sir.
Are lasers inconvenient?
Padme goes down, instigating a brief conflict about lowering the ship that ultimately ends with Anakin just saying, "Fine, I'll be obedient for once." Then they arrive at Dooku's hangar. And did I mention this ship is piloted completely by red shirts?
You do realize that you deserve to die for that joke alone?
I don't think so.
Okay, and then this happens.
You're gonna pay for all the Jedi that you killed today, Dooku.
Yeah, Jedi we weren't even introduced to, and that the audience won't even care about. You're going to pay dearly for them.
So we finally get a lightsaber fight in this movie. Not bad. Less ballet-ish than the last movie, but not that exciting. Dooku has a cool lightsaber hilt, Anakin with 2 lightsabers is kinda cool. And the fight between him and Dooku is basically just a light show. Are those lightsabers hitting each other? Because I'm not hearing it.
Okay, let me just catch my arm. Oh, my arm! And a new challenger approaches... Yoda?
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber.
What?
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 But well you have, my old Padawan.
This is just the beginning.
Okay, look, I know that everyone tends to call that fight with Yoda silly because of him just jumping around like that. I don't freaking care. That was pretty awesome. To be in the theater when this movie came out and to see that for the first time, I was 9 years old. To see that at that age, those were good times, man. Anyway, time to wrap this up. Dooku goes to Coruscant, an odd choice considering he leads the opposition, meets up with Darth Sidious. The war has officially begun, the clones are shipped out by the thousands, and Padme and Anakin get married. And at this point, I would like to call back to the previously uttered phrase,
Don't try to grow up too fast.
and that's Attack of the Clones. It did not hold up the way I was expecting it to. The majority of this movie involves people talking about less than engaging subjects. There are lapses in logic among what we are meant to believe are reasonably intelligent people. And the romance? Well, I'll just let Takaha 101 tell you about that.
Apparently, Padme and Anakin were in love. He literally was the least attractive male imaginable on an emotional level. He just, I'm so angry and jealous, man. I love you. What?
Thank you, Taka. I really do wish George Lucas had had more consultants on this film to tell him when he was going too far. Because as it turns out, him taking it upon himself to write and direct was not a good idea. Well, here's this much. After watching Attack of the Clones again, I can declare it, for me, the worst film of the Star Wars saga.
Even worse than the holidays.
We don't talk about that. But like The Phantom Menace, it isn't all bad. Even though they speak monotonously, the actors do a decent job. The clones were pretty cool. I thought some of the humor was okay.
What about Padme?
She seems to be on top of things.
The battles, lightsaber or otherwise, were in fact pretty cool to see. And God bless Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine. He comes across good as a manipulator and is good at keeping a low profile when he's supposed to have a double identity. And now, there's something I have to touch on. There is a YouTube video called What If Episode 1 Was Good? In this video, a user named Belated Media pitches his version of what he calls a good Episode 1. This version puts more focus on Obi-Wan, doesn't have midichlorians or Jar Jar, has Anakin as a teenager at the start rather than a kid, hints at a more plausible romance between Obi-Wan and Padme, and more importantly, allows Darth Maul to live after killing Qui-Gon to give Obi-Wan a drive for the rest of the trilogy. Even though I do like Episode 1 for what it is, I thought this pitch made the movie sound way better indeed. But there's only one thing I'd change about it. In Episode 2, we learn that Qui-Gon was Dooku's apprentice. What if Dooku was the Sith apprentice throughout the entire trilogy, up until in Episode 3 when he gets killed by Anakin? Even with its other errors, this trilogy having one consistent villain like Dooku would have made it so much better. Making the villain Qui-Gon's former mentor would have been really awesome for character interaction and development as the trilogy progressed. Alas, we can only dream. And now, it's time for the plot holes. When Jar Jar voted to grant Palpatine emergency powers to approve an army for the Republic, he did it because Palpatine's advisor said,
"If only Senator Amidala were here."
And Jar Jar was the acting senator in Padme's absence. Ignoring that Jar Jar somehow became a senator, Padme worked to defeat a law known as the Military Creation Act in this movie. Why the hell would Jar Jar believe she would do this and act in her stead to do exactly that? Next.
Got to get to that hangar.
How did you know they were going to a hangar bay? Did you read the script too?
Well, Dooku had to get off-world somehow. How would he do that? In a ship. Where do you keep a ship? A hangar. So even though she didn't know where the hangar was or that it existed, she kind of figured with logic that a hangar had to exist somewhere. When the column was falling towards Obi-Wan and Anakin in the hangar, why didn't Yoda just use the Force to move the two of them rather than struggling to move the column like he did? I guess it's because since Dooku broke the column, that's where Yoda's focus was. But come on, I thought Yoda was a little wiser than that. Alright, Tim. Take us home. First review in a decent location? I'd say they went pretty well.
Yeah, and it's all thanks to you, Tim. Where'd he go?
Initiate Protocol 1347. Steven, Tyler, thank you for letting me join you guys, even though I kind of forced myself here anyway. But I had a super fun time with you, and I'm sorry for leaving. I had somewhere to hop off to. Now, until the next proper review, I bid you adieu.
What just happened?